How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So I had a question come in on one of my recent posts asking me about my modified wake back to bed technique. Basically getting at like how often do I set my alarms and then why do I like to wait 4 hours before setting the first one. I guess just as a quick recap in case you haven't seen any of my previous videos on this stuff. My modified wake back to bed technique is instead of getting up at some point midway through the night, staying awake for like 20 minutes to an hour and then going back to sleep the classic wake back to bed way. My modified approach is I'll set multiple alarms, keep my phone right next to me with preferably like a soft, gentle alarm. You don't want to jar yourself awake. So hopefully I can catch myself coming up out of REM, turn my alarm off really quickly, and try to drift back into sleep, and hopefully maybe even have a wild like drift through hypnagogia, hopefully re-enter REM right away, and then get lucid from that point on. But why do I like to wait 4 hours? So I like to wait 4 hours. So we sleep in these like sleep cycles typically last about 90 minutes. And in the first 2 sleep cycles is when we normally get done with all of our deep, what they used to call dreamless sleep, like stage 3, 4 stuff out of the way. And then from that point on, you spend exponentially more time in REM with each passing cycle. So I like to do 4 hours so I have lots of time to fall asleep initially, because of course you don't just hit your bed and fall asleep right away. Plus, if you give yourself a little bit of time and you don't want it to go off, say like right at the 3 hour mark, right when you're getting done with the first 2 cycles of sleep, is hopefully if you set it for 4 hours, you'll be getting up out of REM, you'll be back in REM at that point, and then you can go, give it a shot at that point. Then if you wanted to be really crazy with it, I mean, you could set your alarm for like every hour from that point on. The reason why I don't like to do that is what I found is a lot of times I'll be lucid in a dream and then my alarm goes off and it pulls me up out of it. So I find 90 minutes to be better. And like the best possible time you could have with this is if your 90-minute alarm is going off in every sleep cycle at the very beginning of REM. Like that would be the perfect sweet spot. So if you wanted to give it a try, you could try something like this. So say you go to sleep at like 10 p.m., set the first alarm for like 12:30. And then after that, you can go like 12:30, whatever, 1:30, 2 a.m., and then 3:30 a.m., and then 5 a.m. And then after 5 a.m., I actually typically won't put any more alarms on, because once you start getting, 7, 8-ish hours of sleep, you'll be waking up naturally on your own anyway, so you don't really need the alarm anymore. At that point, your goal is just to, every time you wake up, just try to immediately go back to sleep, try to sleep in as long as you can. I'm having stuff like blackout curtains, earplugs or something like that. You don't want it to be noisy, right? So you can fall asleep quickly after getting up as you're getting to the morning hours. That can be really clutch there as well. Oh, and one more thing. So the same guy had a follow-up question where in a previous video, I've talked about how sometimes when I'm in the hypnagogic state, I'll wiggle my fingers a little bit to kind of keep me in that state and, keep me from sinking deeper into stage 2, 3, 4 and, totally falling asleep. So I find that works great when playing in hypnagogia, but I do not do that when I'm doing my modified wake back to bed technique, because really my goal there is really just to fall asleep and hit REM as fast as possible. So yeah, when it comes to that, I don't add it in. I find that works best if you're just trying to, say, go to sleep initially for the first time at night. If you're taking a nap or something, you're trying to explore the hypnagogic space, then that little finger wagging technique can work good for that one. So keep the questions coming. Until then, keep the hypnagogic and lucid dreaming practices legit.